Welcome to the Shakedown Sound Series.
In this series, we're going to share with you envelope filters by some of our favorite manufacturers.
Join us on this long, strange trip. Today, the Shakedown Sound is being brought to you by the Little Wonder from Mojo Hand FX, and the Beard's going to tell you more about it.
Right, so Mojo Hand FX, during our 19 Conversations series, during the lockdown, we got to interview John Cusack, and one of the things that we learned along the way is that he has his hands in, owns Mojo Hand FX too. So anything...
This may be his actual hand.
Right. Anything that John is involved with.
Yeah.
So they have an envelope filter, so we went with that. This is the Little Wonder. You might be familiar that Mojo Hand FX made a larger envelope filter called the Wonder Filter, I believe. And so they've kind of stripped it down. I think they're pretty proud of it. I'm not even sure they're making the big one anymore. Just glanced at the website, didn't see it on there.
Right.
This is the one that they said, yeah, when I reached out, I said, look, we want to put one in the series. Which one would you recommend? They said, do the Little Wonder. So we're doing the Little Wonder. Stripped down, right? We have a peak of sensitivity, a blend, and a band pass or low pass filter. So, and that's it. So it's pretty easy to get a sound out of it too. Like we plugged it in and like kind of right away. And so we are going to take 1 minute before we start turning knobs and do sounds from the Doodah Man, right? So this is kind of where I landed on this pedal for sounds from the Doodah Man.
For
the
it's an homage.
It could be sounds for the Doodah Man. I like that as much as well. So sounds a little bit something like. Has that quack, right?
It does.
That quack. Yeah, we can't be here without at least.
You can't be unhappy when somebody's playing an envelope filter. It's impossible.
It makes me smile.
The whole time.
Like even when you play things that could have had an envelope filter but probably didn't.
Right.
You're right. If you play it wrong every time, you'll never get a copyright strike.
Right.
So
that's the only reason he's doing it.
Sounds from the Doodah Man. And I feel like I can get in that ballpark pretty easily.
Yeah.
And as always, if you turn those knobs a little bit more, you might get closer to what you think that ballpark is and where I was at. But yeah. So we're starting in the low pass filter. Let's start. I'm going to put them both up. Start with the blend knob. I'm going to turn the blend knob all the way to the right. In the manual, Mojo Hand FX says most guitar players will probably like the knob all the way to the right. So this is interesting because I don't think none of the other envelope filters we've done an episode on yet. And I'm not sure, I don't want to say none of them.
Because there are 19 or 20.
Yeah, there's a bunch. But this isn't a feature I feel like I've seen on many of them, which is truly a blend knob. So as we go to the left, we're going to blend in the dry signal of the guitar. I think very fun for guitarists to play with. You'll even notice in the last clip we just did, we had a little bit of the dry guitar signal blended in.
Right.
Really important if you're a bass player. Like if you're a bass player and you want to get the funk, but you still want to have that low end, you can start to bring that in. So if you want to play, but you're probably going to want to do
I want reference tone. I was curious to know if the reference tone was the blend all the way back or the pedal off.
The pedal off.
So a 99 Strat?
Mm-hmm.
Noiseless pickups. Through the Tyler Ampworks JT22.
All right, so we'll roll that blend mode. Real quick, while we're there, let's go back like here where it was really underneath.
Yeah.
Let's start. Let me play with these knobs just real quick to see if we can really.
Should I play the same thing? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't thought about that. Honestly, a lot of times on flip filters, I'm thinking a lot more single note kind of things.
Right.
You start playing the chords, we rolled that back, and then you hear it start to disappear and be like kind of under.
Right.
And then going back and pushing some of the other knobs, we can talk more about what the knobs do that we pushed in a minute, but I felt like it almost got into some other territory. Like you're almost faking like some kind of flanger or
right.
Not a flanger. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's very phasey, and even at one point it sounded a little bit like the Morley whoa on the wah.
Right. Yeah. So it just opens up like a whole new realm of possibilities with that blend knob where you can kind of sing stuff down. Like I was actually thinking at one point, I'm like, oh, that's like a sound you would use.
Yeah.
Like right. I saw you kind of look up, like,
yeah,
that's
there's a
like
Strat in there somewhere.
There's something there's a sound that I might have on my board. So let's leave that blend pretty high. Let's look at the gain and the peak, and we're gonna kind of do this in conjunction, I think, because we can. And because I think I'm starting to get a better understanding of this. Your peak knob is going to set kind of where the frequency is going to roll off or whatever. Mm-hmm. Sensitivity, and I think it's really hard to show it in some regards because it's really tied to how you're playing and what you're playing. So playing a single coil guitar right now, you're going to probably want a little more sensitivity in there than I had on the humbuckers I had a minute ago.
Right.
But then also depending on where you put your peak. So if your peak is down real, I'm discovering if your peak is down real low, you might push your sensitivity a little bit more to trigger it quicker. Mm-hmm. And as you roll the peak up, you might pull the sensitivity back a little bit so it doesn't trigger quite as fast.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You want to.
What does it sound like if we take the gain where it sounded really... I'm trying to think somewhere here. Yeah, I was just trying to see what happened if I hit it harder with single notes and it doesn't recover. It's way under.
It affects that high a little bit too, though, because once you get enough sensitivity going, it pushes it up in the high range. So, and that would be different, I think, with humbuckers.
Right.
The hotter your pickup going into it, the better.
I was really curious when it had the really muted tone if I went more single note and I really hit those, if it would bring it out, and it didn't really until you started.
Right, and you had
I had it all the way back, right.
One more thing on this one would be going to a bandpass. So low pass, you're cutting off, you're bypassing some of the highs. If we push the switch in the middle, that pops up. We're now in bandpass mode. Bandpass is going to be cutting some of the highs, cutting some of the lows. So think wah pedal territory. So where we live in the wah pedal. And then our peak knob is kind of sweeping. I don't know if this is right, but I think of it as like the peak knob sweeping through the sweep of a wah.
Mm-hmm.
But then you still get that envelope. So I'm not sure I'm describing it exactly right, but we can try that. Are you surprised by anything? I was surprised that all the way left was the highs. Like the toe of the wah and all the way to the right was the lows.
Right. It's backwards in your mind.
Was it that way in the low pass too? I don't feel like it was. So low to the left in that one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So it switched.
Just for fun.
Just for fun. But when we first started on the low, I wasn't sure it did. So it might have to do with the peak again too. Like since you're bypassing the low, oh my gosh, This is why I love envelope filters.
Right.
This is why I hate envelope filters.
Well, we need a whiteboard with some graphs.
No, I mean seriously, this is why I like them a lot. Like they are a little unpredictable. You have to play with them. You have to get in and twist knobs. What I'm finding is you have to really listen to them and stop that preconceived notion of here's what the knob does. So if I turn this, I'm going to get that sound.
Right.
Which was shown really apparently in one of the previous videos we did where I thought it was going down when the filter was going up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought they were worked differently, but I ended up on the one I wanted. And we're going to see that again with another one coming up. So anyway, before we get too far into the weeds.
Right.
So we have low pass, band pass. You have the blend knob, which is really super unique on this, that you can blend in that dry signal, which I think takes you away just from maybe those traditional envelope filter, Edie Brickell, Jerry Garcia, whatever, and takes you into a whole new realm of possibilities. And then you have new peak in your game. And
I like this one. It's simple-ish.
right.
I mean, the knobs still affect each other. There's still a relationship between them, but not quite as sensitive as some other ones.
And I feel like you were getting maybe not the sound I was looking for, but getting a good sound.
Yes.
So easy to turn the knobs, have a good sound, and then, okay, what do I want to do with that sound kind of thing? Yeah. And then easy to get to the sound you're looking for, but I think what I was trying to say, oh my gosh.
You're going to a destination, but you see some nice sights on the way.
Right.
It's not like a nice place.
We had one that we looked at where it was like,
you turn a knob and it disappears.
Yeah, and there was nothing there. So now what do I do to get something back? And the challenge to get to the destination, it was like MapQuest versus Google.
Yes, like Waze.
First Waze. MapQuest versus Waze. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So we always like to take a point or a minute when we do these. Just stop, say thanks to everybody that's watching, clicking subscribe, hitting the like button, turn on notifications. Going out to Instagram, Facebook. Anytime you interact with the show, leave a comment, whatever, it really helps us out. We really appreciate it because it helps us get to play with all this cool gear.
Yes, we do.
And we appreciate that. So I think.
With that, I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
Wow.